The number one position in football is loaded with talent right now, from MVPs to rising stars. The NFL has absolutely no shortage of elite quarterbacks. Today, I am ranking the top 10 quarterbacks in the National Football League. What is up, everybody? It's your boy Nash here. And before we start off with the rankings, I want to give out an honorable mention shout out to Jared Goff. Jared Goff was second in passing yards this season and passing touchdowns this season, with only 8 interceptions in a really mediocre QB rating around that 15-16 mid-range. So had to give him a shout out. Before we started off with our top 10 ranking, he's a really solid quarterback for the Detroit Lions. If you give him a good team, he's going to be a good quarterback. And now coming in at my number 10 spot will be Jordan Love for the Green Bay Packers. Although his stats aren't as impressive as Jared Goff's, he was out for 2 games. But overall, Jordan Love has been one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the National Football League. When you compare him to quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen, he might not be up there just yet, but he has absolutely done his job in Green Bay and been a really solid quarterback for the Green Bay Mother 11 Packers. And roster-wise, in the NFC North, the Packers honestly have the second worst roster when you guys compare every single player on their teams. The Bears, they're growing with an awesome offense, and same with the Lions, right? Love doesn't get the amount of support as Jared Goff does or Caleb Williams does. We'll talk about Caleb Williams later on in this video. But, like I said, Jordan Love is really good for what he has had right now. And coming in at my number 9 spot is Bo Nix for the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix, his last game he played was in the AFC divisional round versus a absolutely overtime thriller versus the Buffalo Bills. And unfortunately, he fractured his right ankle during that game, so he didn't get to finish out the rest of the season and potentially made it to the Super Bowl if they beat the Patriots in the AFC Championship, which I think they absolutely could have had a shot if Bo Nix played. But excluding that, Bo Nix, really solid season last year in 2025, has a lot of promise and kind of a lot of pressure when you're coming off an injury. You made it to the divisional round, haven't had a whole lot of success until that moment since 2015 with Peyton Manning taking them to the Super Bowl. It's a lot of pressure for Bo Nix upcoming for this 2026 season, and especially with Patrick Mahomes coming back and the Raiders are slowly coming up. The Chargers have always been there, even though they're frauds in the playoffs and in December and whatnot. We already know about that. But during the regular season, the Chargers are always a tough opponent. So no matter what, the Broncos are going to be really tight in there versus like the Chiefs and Chargers. And we'll see how Bo Nix does next season. And coming in at number 8, wanted to give this guy some respect. Not all the world, not going to give him in the top 5, but Sam Darnold, Super Bowl winning quarterback in Super Bowl 60 versus Drake May in the New England Patriots. Sam Darnold absolutely came up clutch and turned his career around from playing with the Jets, from playing in San Francisco as a backup, and then playing last year, the year before, 2025, in Minnesota with a 13-4 record, and then doing the same thing in Seattle, and then taking Seattle to the Super Bowl is absolutely mind-blowing. The teammates love him. So it's going to be really remarkable to see what Sam Darnold can do without his RB1 and Kenneth Walker, because he's going to the Chiefs. But Sam Darnold, 4,048 passing yards, 25 passing yards, 14 interceptions, 55.6 QB rating. Not the greatest on the QB rating, but a really solid on the passing yards and a pretty solid passing touchdown ratio combined with that. Overall, Sam Darnold, really solid quarterback. Would not put him in the top 5 because the top 5, I feel like, is very reserved for very specific people that have been here at a high level for a very long time. And this is the first time, honestly, well, I would say second, because he did have a 13-4 record the year before with the Vikings. But really solid, 13-4 back-to-back seasons. This time has a Lombardi Trophy and a Super Bowl ring to back his statement up and why he deserves it to be in the top 10. And I'll give him the number 8 spot. Like this type of content? Make sure you guys click that like and subscribe button. And if you guys have any more questions or any thoughts, make sure you leave a comment down below. And if you guys like any energy drinks or anything like that, use code Itsyoboynash, just like how you spell my YouTube title, for 10% off on the W. And coming in at number 7 was the team that he beat is Drake May. Drake May has been doing it for only 2 years now, coming into his 3rd season in 2026. But 2025, absolute glow up from 2024. Drake May, absolutely new regime, new everything with Mike Vrabel, and absolutely went electric with all of it. He was MVP conversation with over 4,000 passing yards, over 30 passing touchdowns, and less than 10 interceptions with a QB rating of 77.1. And I gotta tell you, man, it was really hard trying not to put him in the top 10 because there are so many good reasons why to put him in the top 10. And honestly, we're thinking about putting him in the top 5. But a lot of the top 5 and outside of the top 5 is where we get really dicey with things. But Drake May absolutely deserves it. And one of the questions when I was making this video was, should Sam Darnold be over Drake May? And I was like, no, for one reason. Drake May has been doing it for less years and did not have a good roster like. And now coming in at number 6, Caleb Williams. Williams has been doing it for about, I think, 3 years now. Caleb Williams, like I said, another kid that has just been growing really fast. The cover of Madden 27. Wow, we are getting really old at this time, guys. Madden 27, cover art person, Caleb Williams with almost 4,000 passing yards last season, 27 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions, but a really mediocre QB rating at 58.2. But Williams, I gotta tell you, man, last year was so electric out of Williams. And one thing that Williams has done better than Drake May and Sam Darnold and all the other quarterbacks behind him was he showed being electric. Like, when I'm talking about electric, I'm talking about like on the level of Mahomes and Allen and Stafford electric, right? In that playoff run, even though he didn't make it to the NFC Championship, in that playoff run, he was phenomenal for the Bears. He had 2 big-time comebacks, almost won one of them versus the Rams, but a huge comeback versus the Packers, and was absolutely phenomenal for the Chicago Bears, and one of the guys that will be continuing the Chicago Bears legacy to Indiana, if you guys haven't already heard about that one. Coming in at the top 5, Lamar Jackson for the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson has been doing it for quite some time now with 3 MVPs in 2019, 2023, and 2024. Lamar has been doing it quite some time in the AFC at a high level with Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow. One thing about Lamar Jackson that he's been doing so well at is his running capability and keeping everybody on their toes, right? And one thing I've been noticing a lot recently about Lamar is that he's been a lot more pass heavy to compare to his past self. And I gotta pay respect for that because I'm more so of a passing guy myself, but he's been doing a lot better of that statistically, although he was injured a lot this year with a lot of torn ligaments in his leg. But he's been doing a lot better recently, and I expect him to come back sooner rather than later at a high level. And now coming in at number 4, yeah, you take that cape off, Joe Burrow, aka Joe Shiesty, or Joe Cool, however you want to call him. He's coming in at my number 4 spot, and one of the big things I was considering was Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson. because those two are always neck and neck for the 4 and the 5 spot for me personally. But I personally took Burrow over Lamar. Honestly, they're interchangeable. You can change them however you want, and I wouldn't be mad at you for it. But I think Burrow overall has less talent around him other than Chase and Higgins. I want to make that very clear. That talent is very talented and very good for what they do. Arguably the best duo in the league. But Burrow has nobody else no more. He doesn't have a Joe Mixon. He doesn't really have a Mike Gesicki, and Lamar has Derrick Henry. He has a really solid defense. His defense was down this year for Baltimore. But overall, I gotta pick Burrow just because, for one, he's beaten Mahomes when it matters most. But he's been to the Super Bowl and he's won the AFC Championship. And now coming in at number 3, the big Elite 3. Matthew Stafford, the MVP of this past season, with over 4,700 passing yards and over 45 passing touchdowns. Matthew Stafford, this guy is absolutely a gunslinger. Matthew Stafford has been doing it, honestly, the longest out of these quarterbacks. But Stafford originally started in Detroit, and Stafford has elevated the Rams with that big trade from the Lions with Goff. And I gotta tell you, Matthew Stafford has been nothing but elite with the LA Rams, and he's always in MVP conversation with the Rams. He has always been in Super Bowl contention with the Rams. He has won a Super Bowl with the Rams in SoFi Stadium, and absolutely has been so elite with the Rams. There's nothing wrong with Matthew Stafford. Although, yes, Matthew Stafford has a really good roster around him, that being Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. But give the man his flowers. He's been doing it for such a long time at such a high level. And coming in at my number 2 spot might upset and question a lot of fans out there, but it's going to be Josh Allen. And I got to tell you, right, when I was making this, I was like, should I put Josh Allen in number 1 just because statistically he had a better year? No, that is not why I'm doing it, and I'm not gonna do it. Because Allen, yes, he is honestly statistically been better than Mahomes, not just this past season, but a couple of years in a row. But who's the guy that keeps on winning it when it matters most? Who's the guy that comes up in 13 seconds to beat you with the field goal? Right? There's a lot of things. No shade to Allen. No shade to any of the other 31 quarterbacks in the National Football League. But Patrick Mahomes has just been doing something that no other quarterback has been doing. And absolutely give the flowers to Allen. Yes, I will. And I love Allen. I absolutely do love Josh Allen. Don't get me wrong and don't get me twisted. I love Josh Allen because he is honestly kind of more fun to watch than Patrick Mahomes. Quite frankly, this guy does everything that Patrick Mahomes does and adds it with the Lamar Jackson type of running and the Cam Newton build. Josh Allen does everything that you want him to do. Like, Josh Allen is honestly unstoppable. I love Josh Allen a lot, and I mean that. But there's just a guy that has been doing it in the playoffs way better than him, and that has to be Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry. No shade. I love you, Josh. And you know what that means. Coming in at number 1 is Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, although had really a down year, got injured in Week 15 versus the Chargers on December. But he is kind of in the mix of coming back Week 1. A lot of people are telling me no, he shouldn't, and no, he wouldn't. But we got a really tough schedule upcoming in this season for 2026. Patrick Mahomes, he's still up there, man. If you are doubting him, you're doubting yourself in the NFL, because Patrick Mahomes has found ways to come back at a high level. When I mean Patrick Mahomes will come back better than ever, I might not agree to that standard, but he will come back and he is ready for some action. If you guys like this type of content, once again, I thank you so much for joining us on this video. There's no bias, no hate. I love every single team in the National Football League. Although I just severely think that Patrick Mahomes is the QB1. He has the rings to show it, right? But once again, I appreciate everybody clicking on this video, taking their sweet time to join us on here. And as always, click that like and subscribe button for your boy. It's your boy Nash, and I got a dash. And I'll see you guys in the very next video. Bye-bye.